Hello, everybody. It's us at Who's Views. How are you? Nice to see you. Paul, what are you reading there?
It's the Doctor Who annual from 1982. This is I'm doing it again. Wrong around. Yeah, this is 43 years old. This, and it smells like it as well.
If you're a regular viewer to Who's Views, as a lot of you are, hello, nice to see you all. You will know that Paul never likes me putting in the age of things and the dating of things at all. So that's just made me feel really, really
I'm just
bad.
getting home back now. It's fine.
Hey, listen, everybody, nice to see you all. Thank you for joining us here for Who's Views Visitations. Yes, this is the calm before the storm. This is our first show here on this double Sunday. If you're watching us live, it's great to see you all. And we thought it would be fun just to have a little bit of a chat around about this tea time on a Sunday. Just before we go into headlines a little bit later on, which is going to be your big show, of course. And Paul has been to yet another Comic Con in Scotland over here, haven't you? And we thought it'd be fun for him to share his experience there. So come on then, mister, tell us all about it.
Well, I've told you already that I met Paul McGann last year. You'll know about that, which is
did he tell us that?
I think I mentioned it once or twice. Yes, yeah.
So, and you might have written something in our annual about it as well, mightn't you?
I had as well. Yeah, exactly. So, which is worth a read if you've not seen it already. But yeah, so I've kind of got the bug a little bit. It's interesting.
Have you?
A friend of mine said to me, he said, "I'm really glad you're getting back into fandom," because I've got a mate who I've known since I bought this annual just about, and he was really pleased that I'm back seeing the celebs, that kind of thing. And I said, reason why I think is doing these shows, getting involved with you guys and just getting the bug back and enjoying the show, the classic show. It's been great, and that's really inspired me to go out and get back into fandom, which is lovely. So
that is lovely, actually. Yeah.
So I met Peter Davison. Was it on the 15th of February this year?
Because you went back to where you met, strangely, Paul McGann, didn't you?
Because
it was this. Paul sent us some photos and graphics. Everyone's had. Well, this is the first one. So this was it. So this is the Capital Sci Fi Con 2025, and Peter was joined by Janet Fielding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay, so this was happening. So obviously it's a 2-day thing. Now I wanted to ask you, is this the first one they do of the year at Capital Sci Fi Con, or is that it now for 2025?
Well, I don't know if all these events are connected in some way, or they have it's like a tour of places people go to, but they're run by different companies. I think these ones, the kind of local ones, I think. So I had a look. I was trying to see whether or not Sarah Sutton or Matthew Waterhouse may be at another convention later on in the year, so I could get the rest of the rest of the cast. Would be quite nice.
That would be fun.
But I haven't seen any bookings from as yet. They may come in 2026. Who knows? But as far as I'm aware, they do different places all through the year. I think Colin and Sylvester, the weekend I was at this one, they were in LA doing the Gallifrey One convention, I think.
Of course, it was Gallifrey One, wasn't it? Yeah.
So they do the rounds, and it's interesting to keep bringing different celebs to each February. Would be lovely. So maybe Colin might be next year, or Sylvester, or whoever. We'll see.
Maybe.
It'll be nice.
So it's every year then for this one. That's good to know.
For this one, but there are different local ones throughout the UK. Yeah.
You're just mentioning that though, because I hear on the grapevine that, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody in the chat, but I hear that Gallifrey One is winding up. It's going to stop. So that could have a knock-on effect, because instead of all going off in February and being paid to do all that, they might just stay in the country and go to ones around the country a bit more.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice. I mean? That'd be lovely.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Let's say hello to everybody that's joining us in the chat. It's lovely to see you. This is our the big show for you. Headlines later on.
This is an appetizer.
Yes, this is the appetizer. This is the bit where we just thought everybody grab a cup of tea and just relax a little bit, because we do have a lot to talk about tonight. Mudcrab is saying to us, "Got that bug? Contact has been made."
Exactly. I've got the eyebrows to prove it as well. There we are. Yeah.
And Paul Rose is saying to you, "Did you offer him only the finest of wines?" Absolutely. Legion of James, it's good to see you. Oh, a double whammy tonight, just what the proper doctor ordered. Oh, it really is. And everyone excited for season 2? No, me neither, says Clarky IRC70 with a very appropriate avatar there, what looks like a man with his head in a dustbin. Clarky IRC70, it's lovely to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us for Visitations. Stay tuned on this channel, because as I say, later on, Paul and I will be back with Ian to talk headlines.
More of that later. More of season 2 later.
Yeah. So you're gonna love it, Clarky, when you come back. Honestly, it's packed, that one. Hi, Julianne. Hi, nice to see you as well. And what's this? Yeah, JT, you can tell the weather is getting milder. You're not wearing the leather jacket tonight. Yes, that's this sussed me out, Paul. Because when it is cold up here in the loft, I do put my jacket on, don't I? That's the
And you've had a
secret.
scarf on occasion as well, I've noticed as well.
When it gets really cold.
As we get the ear muffs will be on as well, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Don't go too far. That would be have Giro. What is it? John's with us as well. And Graham. Hi, Graham. Evening, everyone. Oh, this will be an interesting watch. Thanks for coming on early, Paul, to tell us all about your meeting with Mr. Davison. Thank you. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it, Paul? That's good to know. Julianne is actually saying to us, blimey, it must be nearly 15 years since I attended a convention.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. I've not been for a while, and last year and this year has been the most I've been since probably the late 80s, to be fair. So
yeah. There you go. Fair enough. Okay. And Rick is saying to us, I think you need a longer intro, as watching the 200 adverts means I come in mid-conversation. What do you mean? What do you mean? There's plenty there that you all want to buy. I know there is. You know, lots of stuff that they promote at the beginning of the show. But thank you very much. And Mark is with us as well. Hello, Mark. This will be a great Sunday. Thanks, guys. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Very well welcome. But yeah, we thought it was just a nice little way to do a visitations and get this through. So let's get back to this. So this again was at the Corn Exchange in Edinburgh, where you were last year to see. It does look like
Paul McGann. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Was it Paul McGann, everybody?
Yes,
it was
Paul
Paul
McGann.
McGann.
Yeah.
It was Paul McGann. You've got this for us as well. Now, last year you explained it was a decent sized venue for something like this.
Yeah.
And this year it looked like this, didn't it? So this was your leaflet that you got there, I take it.
Yeah, it's kind of a map of the venue, really, to show you where things are, to find your way around. And, you see there's a food truck there, which was outside, and you can go and get snacks if you want, but they're all hugely expensive, I have to say. But so I recommend take a snack with you. If you're Scottish, you'll probably do that already. But yeah, so it's kind of it just shows you the layout, really, and it's a big place, but it's walkable, and there's lots of stalls to see as well. You know, got merchandise, posters, that kind of thing. You know, overpriced figures from character options, that kind of thing. So,
were they really?
Yeah. So if you like that kind of thing, I saw the box of K1 Robot and Tom Baker from Robot for £50, I think it was. So
£50.
£50, yeah. Is that good or bad? I'm not sure, but
well, it's considering it was $29.99 when it came out.
Oh, maybe that is good then, yeah.
So how many years was that ago now, everybody? About 4 years, 5 years maybe? I've lost count now, but yeah, from B&M only though. That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, maybe that's a good price. And I thought, oh, £50, really? Yeah, but
well, they have put they've put a bit of a margin on it, but you know, it could go up again. You never know. You know.
Well, here's hoping, because when I got my annual signed, I got my annual signed, and it was originally bought at £2.50. So I'm hoping it's got up to at least a £5 now if I sell it. So that's quite good. So.
You mentioned your annual there, so you've got that there. You have sent us a picture of them, of course. So we'll come to that in a second about how they signed it for you. But was there a variety of merchandise stores there? Because you know, when I go to these things now, I mean, conventions, it depends on which one you go to, but they're completely different to how we used to have them. Because remember, in the late 80s and through the 90s, we didn't have that much merchandise there. So you would get the odd person there. But now there's so many people, and if they want to rent a table there for the day, you can get huge amounts of people. And because this one is not just Doctor Who, it's a variety. It's Star Wars, and you've got your whatever, you've got your Ghostbusters there as well, haven't you? And you've got your Star Trek there. You've got everything there. Were there a lot of merchandisers there?
Oh yes, all different things. Like you say, there's Star Wars, there's Ghostbusters. There were people. What I thought was lovely, and I said this last time when we talked about the GAM one, that the cosplay is brilliant, really brilliant. I mean, it's not my thing. I don't like dressing up, doing that, not unless it's work. But I don't kind of like doing it as a hobby. But you see people. One that inspired me the most, a guy dressed as Chewbacca, handmade costume, and I don't know if the guy is 8 foot tall or stands on stilts, whatever he's doing, but he looks superb, and the costume looks even better than the actual costume in the movie. That's a good up close. It looks amazing. So kudos to people who go to that trouble of actually, getting a costume done, because it's really well done. It's not my thing, but good for them,
No, it's not my thing either, but you do have to, when you meet them, you go, blow me that, because there's a lot of dedication, a lot of study as well, because the accuracy on a lot of these things.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely accurate. Yeah.
I still don't know how these people dress up as stormtroopers. How the hell do you start making a Star Wars stormtrooper costume? you know, and they're always
Yeah.
great. And I mean, you do have to, you know,
And there are lots of other kind of characters, not just film and TV. There's like cartoons, like Pokemon characters, that kind of stuff.
I've noticed this now.
Above
The
my
things
head
with wild
completely.
hair.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. You know, so
I don't know half of them.
I didn't recognise half of them, to be honest.
No,
you know? Yeah.
That's our age though, I guess, because we're not watching the kids stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is it called? It's the anime stuff, isn't it?
That kind of thing.
Anime stuff, yeah. All I know is that the only ones I remember are the Powerpuff Girls, but were they anime? I don't think so, really. No.
There may have been a few of them there, I think, as well, as far as I remember. If I'm spotting them correctly, obviously. But
Eddie is saying to us, what a fantastic way to spend the Sunday evening. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. Mark Greaves. It's Mum's birthday. She would have been 79. So spending Sunday with the Who's Views helps more than I can say. Mark, lots of hugs to you then, my friend. Yeah. Can't be an easy day for you today. But yet we are here with you twice. We've got this one, and then we will be back with Who's Views. Headlines, of course, your big show for Sundays where you can kick off if you want to and let it all be released in that show. So, Mark, yeah, we're with you there. Problem Being's with us as well, saying hello all, cooking at the moment, so listening in. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for tuning in for the first of our Sunday shows today. What else we got here? The big question, says Paul Rose, is will I have a chance to get dinner between the warm-up show and the main event, or am I eating very late again?
That's what I was thinking. So
yeah, that's what we're thinking here as well. So thank you very much. Nice to see you. What else we got here? Eddie, back with Eddie. The merchandise selling on Amazon are quite expensive too. Yeah, they are, and I'm not quite sure why when it comes to the character option stuff as well. Probably because it was they branded it as limited edition, haven't they? Viewers, and then they said it's B&M only. How much longer is that going to last, though? After this week, how much longer? Yeah. What I would say though, if you see anything like Paul, if you saw the K1 robot and the Fourth Doctor thing, and it was 50 quid, you know, and you didn't have it, I would have bought it. Yeah, because everything's in a flux at the moment, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing, but I'd be interested to see, in all seriousness, we've talked this before, how the current merchandise, what there is of it, will actually, how that will, if that'll just go straight to landfill or whatever, who knows?
Well, who knows? Hi to Kirsty, who's joining us in the chat, making sure everybody's all right. All right, lady, how are you? I hope you haven't got soaking wet today.
Hope you're dried off, yeah.
I know, yeah. Julianne is saying to us again, the K1 and Tom figure sets around £30 boxed on eBay, £20 unboxed. And then you've got the postage and packaging, I guess, on that, Julianne, as well. So not too bad. It was $29.99 in B&M, everybody, wasn't it, a few years back? So not too bad. But I think, I don't know, I've just got this feeling that after this week, and as we move on to all this uncertainty that's coming up, more on that later, I've got a feeling that a lot of this stuff might just, do you know what? Well, we'll come back to your visitation in a minute, actually, but I was in a particular place this week, which will remain nameless, and they had a box-free Fifth Doctor character options model.
Oh,
and it had the celery on. And it was in this glass case. You know how you get them all, Who's Viewers, don't you, in glass taxes, because, you know, they're stuck on with blue tack, so they won't fall over.
Has he got his hat in that one? Has he got his hat on in that one?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't have the hat. But because mine are all boxed, I thought, oh, hang on, I wonder how much that is. And then next to him were certain things like Dalek Sec action figure and the pig thing, you know, from those stories, and a Martha, and there was a Rose. And I could just see on the back, they all had stickers on saying £5. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I went to the guy who was running the place, owning the place. Turns out he's a Doctor Who fan. So if he's watching us, because I did mention the channel, hello. Wanted £25 for this, Peter Davison. And I said, well, no, we're not playing that game, fella. You can put him back in there. I'm not spending that much. I'm sorry, but I wasn't. £5, yeah, but £25 for a card-free, without the hat, Fifth Doctor action figure that I only wanted to put on the shelves. I'm sorry, common sense has got to me at last, everybody. It's called age. But no, I wasn't paying that. What we got here, Robert Payne is saying to us, someone sees a Chewbacca outfit and the person whimpers, it's supposed to be a carvanista. Okay. Hi, Lee. Yeah, Lee Smith with us saying anime and manga. That's the other thing I can never remember. Thank you, mate. And Legion of James, I had an annual holding problem, passed on the extras, but still have doubles of 76 to 86, kept buying them to get best conditions. It happens a lot with Doctor Who. Buy one to cover and one to enjoy. Well, yeah, it's true, isn't it? I haven't done that with the annuals, because my annuals are all my original ones from when I was a kid, but I've bought in the ones, obviously, that I missed. So thank you very much. Bill Lowry saying, my first convention was Dimensions on Tyne. I was asked what I thought of what I'd seen. I said the level of imagination was very impressive. That's nice. Yeah. It's hard work doing a blooming convention.
Yeah, well, you did one. Was it last April, wasn't it? So that must be hard work.
No, it was the anniversary year. Now it was 2023.
Oh, was it? My God.
Yeah, I know it's gone really quickly, hasn't it? Really quickly. April 23, we did Invasion Blackpool. Huge success, but it was a lot of work. And what I've noticed as well is when you were saying you were going to this Comic Con, what I noticed is that the prices for the artists, well, they're not cheap now. So to get them in, to get them to turn up to these things, I mean, even since we did ours in 23, it's not easy because you got to cover your costs, you know.
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming they just get their fees from the fans who come and want a signing or a photograph or whatever. But I don't know if they get a fee on top of that for coming to these ones. I don't know for definite.
I would imagine so. I would imagine it's all the same.
They're fairly raking it in, I have to say.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I would imagine. I mean, I would imagine they do because they couldn't charge one and not the other. So I would imagine they do that one. So thanks, PTA, Paul Thomas Ashworth, for your. I love this one. He's given us a fist bump.
Oh, good stuff.
So thank you for
Down
that.
with the kids, yeah.
He is. He definitely is. But yeah, Garbage is with us as well. Hi, Garbage. Nice to see you. Adrian James is with us too. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Craig Dunlop is with us as well. Hello, Craig. The Stormtroopers will be part of the 501st Battalion, an organisation of Star Wars fans that can be hired for events, usually charitable. Oh, just like the Hyde fundraisers for Doctor Who. But what I'm saying, Craig, as well, is the costumes, though. If they've made those, how they've done that, I don't know, because they're so good. And when you see them in a group and they're coming at you, it's actually quite, you have to suspend your disbelief for a minute because it takes you right back to 1977 or 78 whenever you first saw it.
Well, you become like you're five or six again, don't you, when you see that kind of stuff?
It's horrible, actually. Yeah, oh, my God. Mark Milford is telling us that Doctor Who toys are expensive in America. I'm sure they are because now it's going to cost them a huge amount of money now to get them over to America as well, isn't it? What else we got here? Rick Storm is with us as well. I remember going to comic conventions in the 80s and the 90s. Used to pick up bargains galore these days. They try to hike all the prices. They do. And that's the thing about business, isn't it? I mean, as we're saying, you know, because the merchandise as well, they have to hire the table that they're at.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of the people there, they can, well...
So imagine they've got to hire the table and there's a markup on the prices of what they're selling to cover that for themselves, I'd imagine.
And their petrol to get there. Maybe they've stayed in a hotel. I mean, this is why these things... I think we've got to make the most of these conventions while we can. Because there's two reasons here. Not wanting to bring everybody down, really, but for myself, I think it's going to get through the roof. Thanks to the bigger Comic Con things that are paying the artists thousands of pounds to turn up, and then they get the money from everything else. And that Comic Con chain, if you like, has really taken over the world, hasn't it, really? So the small independent ones, like the one that we put together, they might struggle now. We also have to be very, very realistic and say, well, we haven't got many of our Doctor Who casts and crew. Yeah. You know, because I wouldn't want that new lot, would you? No.
Well, the new lot, I mean, obviously, Mr. Gatwa's charging £180 an autograph and a selfie. And someone was telling me, I met another fan friend at the event. He said he went to one and Ewan McGregor was charging £180 for a signature. You know, so that gives you the scale, £180. Yeah. So signature and a selfie. So, but he's a bigger star than Gatwa is. But it's interesting that level of
ego.
Yeah, and Ian McDermott, who plays the Emperor in the Star Wars movies, he was at the event, not the day I was there, but on the Sunday, and he was charging £90 for an autograph and a selfie.
Well, do you know what? If you want to do this, like Paul has done, well, good for you. But I'm so glad I was around in the 80s and the 90s when I would say to Mr. Pertwee, would you please sign my book? Of course I will. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm so glad, you know, that I was there then because they would.
Well, I've still got my Tom autograph on my Pescatons album, which I got for free. And I have a confession to make. I had Troughton's autograph back in '85 at an American convention. A fan signed for me, got a signed copy of the second Troughton annual. And I thought I was going out with Doctor Who, so I sold it. Literally, but I know, and so I sold it. So a mate of mine still got it, but I sold it to him. So I need to try and get it back because it's personalised to me. for the second turn, and I sold it, which is stupid.
Nobody tell him that it's worth
Yeah.
money. Nobody tell him it's worth money. That's all it is. Hugh Janus, hiya, mate. Nice to see you. It's looked like you've completed your annual collection just in time. He says to me, yes, thanks to you. Thank you so much again for that. It's been looked after, I can assure you. It really is.
That's one of my favorite ones. The second Troughton's lovely.
It's
it
just
really
beautiful,
yeah,
and it's now preserved. Bill Larry saying the original Stars autographs are going up. The new Who Stars autographs are ludicrous. Well, so's that bloody handwriting. I'm sorry, but it is. It's just stuff of nightmares. What we got here from Legion of James. I've not been to a convention for years, but the last time I went was to Birmingham. Sylvester and Sophie were out in halls mixing. You didn't have to pay for pictures either. Prices have rocketed now. Yeah.
On the Scene 25 box set, there's a lovely convention footage on there of Sophie and Sylvester wandering around the hall, and it's very funny. It's great to see. Yeah.
Well, let's get on with this then, because nice to see you all in the chat. This is, if you just joined us, thank you for joining us. This is Who's Views. This is Visitations. This is the first of our Sunday shows today. We will be back live at 8 o'clock UK time with your big Sunday show. It's headlines, and oh my God, that is big, I can tell you. You better get your breakfast on, because Eamon Holmes will be coming on before you know it by the time we finish. I can tell you. So you got to meet Peter Davison and Janet Fields, and then, as you've said there, who were they together, or did you have to go and see them separately? How was it all laid out, and who did you meet first?
Well, I went to see Peter first, and I apologise.
Oh, you could choose.
Yeah. So everyone's sitting at their own table, but Janet and Peter were next to each other, so that was nice.
Were they? So, how was that, Paul?
Well, they play at it, don't they? They had a little panel they did in the middle of the day before they did charity photographs. So they were having a bit of banter on stage, as they normally do, just basically slagging each other off as they do, you know.
And she was winding him up,
they told about how they got to the convention anyway. Peter cut himself shaving, so he was like trying to stop himself from bleeding. And Janet put some drops in her eyes, or so she thought, but she put some nail polish in her eye by mistake. So she had to get her eye dabbed, apparently, and Peter was slagging off about that because she was very clumsy. But she said, interestingly, she usually uses the eye drops, she said, that normally she misses. But on this occasion, she did. So she started, her eye was stuck like that, kind of thing, she said. So
she's gone mad.
Yeah, all this banter about how they got there was very, very funny. And just basically how they just take the mickey of each other all the time, which is lovely, you know. But
and that banter was coming across, because you know, when you watch the Behind the Sofas, sometimes I feel for Peter, because he comes across as the nagged husband, doesn't he?
But they know each other, really. That's the thing. They just love each other.
That's the thing. They know each other for 40 years, and I think when you see him on things like Behind the Sofa or whether, and he just goes, oh. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. That's a sitcom waiting to happen with him.
It's become a real double act, hasn't it? That's the thing, you know, and it's nice to watch. Yeah.
Because Janet can be quite in your face there with Peter, can't she? And she's you know. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's a sitcom waiting to happen, and I think Peter should write it, direct it, sing the theme tune.
Well, he can. He can do all of that, can't he? Yeah. Remember Button Moon? Yeah. So.
Yeah. So you've got this lovely picture here.
Yeah.
There he is. There's Paul with the man himself.
And Garbage told me that when I put the picture up on our chat, that that's a picture of his hero. He meant Peter Davison, not me, just to clarify that. So
it's a nice picture, though.
It's a lovely picture. Yeah.
So that was at his table, was it?
That was at his table. Yeah. So he was actually on the end, the far end. So he was in the corner, and then Janet was just next to him. You know.
Right. Okay.
And there's a few other celebs, I had no idea who they were, next to them, and then they had Jimmy V was there as well.
Oh, was he?
And James McKenzie from Raven was there as well. And Ian McDermott was going to turn up the following day. He might be there for both days, but the commitment stopped him from coming on the Saturday. So, yeah.
Well, Robert is saying that's a nice picture. Kirsty is saying cute. Domgo, hiya, mate. I was at a comic convention at Glasgow Bray Head in the summer, and Sylvester, Sophie, and Bonnie were at it. Yeah, we saw that, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah.
And they gave a cracking Q&A, because we nearly went to that, and for some reason something happened and we couldn't. Either he was working or I was working, or both were working. I can't remember. We didn't get there because Bray Head.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah.
Up the road.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that again, because I'd like to see Bonnie again. I haven't seen Bonnie in such a long time. It'd be nice to see her there. Mark likes the idea. That would be like one foot in the grave with Peter and Janet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be, wouldn't
it? That now. Yeah.
I picture it, Paul, in the sense of like, the old style BBC One 1980s sitcoms, which set
Terry
in a
and June
house.
style, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And what was that other one? Keep in the Family or something like that. Or No Place Like Home and all that
No,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
with William Gaunt. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, that was a great one, that one. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. I caught that the other day, actually, on the telly with William Gaunt, and there he is, just being brilliant as ever.
And Martin Clunes as well, yeah.
Martin Clunes. And it was from one that he did in 84, so about the same time as he did Revelation.
Yeah.
So I just kept thinking, oh my God, you were doing Orsini at this time. How fantastic you are.
And what a difference in performance as well. Really nice. Yeah.
Such a good actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He really was. And and all those things he did in the 60s as well as a young man.
Oh, the Champions, yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Champions, that's the one I was looking for. Peter is 73. He looks amazing, says Mark Milford. 73.
I know,
he does, doesn't he?
He looks better than I do, I have to say, to be honest.
He's 73, everybody. Yeah, he doesn't look 73, does he?
He's got more hair than I have for a start, which is, I'm jealous of that. Yeah, he's got a very fantastic coif of hair there, yeah.
He's actually, considering that he was a blonde man, not bad, because we all know that blondes lose their hair earlier.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's very fine blonde hair. It really is. Let's go on to the lady herself then. Here's you with Janet.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
I did say to her when I got to sign my annual, I said to her, I'm really sorry I got Peter to sign it first. And she narrowed her eyes at me and gave me an evil look and then gave me a wink. It was very funny. But I did notice she's got on her jacket there, she's got a sheep brooch.
It's a sheep.
Yeah, and I told her that my wife loves sheep, and I said, "Where'd you get it from?" So she got it in New York, but it's from a Paris collection of sheep brooches. So I need to see if I can find one for my wife.
Oh, how lovely! I was going to ask if there was a significance. Was she doing a doctor? Because she's looking sort of doctory in that outfit as well. If you don't mind,
it's like Colin Baker with his cat badge, and she
exactly.
Tegan's doctor likes sheep, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you not think who viewers? I think she might be auditioning for that role now.
But I have to say though, she is tiny. I'm 5'7". And she must be 5 foot. She's absolutely tiny. I felt like a giant compared to her, honestly, and I'm tiny myself. So
yeah, she is. She's very, very sore. PTA, Paul Thomas Ashworth, what you're saying to us, Doc and Tegan were brilliant on screen and who loved them together. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it was certainly the 80s Doctor Who partnership. Let's face it, because no offense to Nicola, Bonnie, or Sophie, but that one was the longest, and it was the most established when it. Do you know what I mean? When it came to the actual episode run and what have you.
Can you put the picture back just a second, GT? I want to say something that I meant to say as well.
And Legion of James is saying to you, these are great picks, by the way, Paul. Thank you for that, Legion of James. Let's put that back to.
I was going to say, Phil, who people know is a big fan of Time Lash, who's one of our panelists, said to me when he saw this picture, he said, "Oh, look, it's a mouth on legs." And Janet Fielding, he said. So I thought I'd use that. I thought it was very kind of her. I liked that. It was very funny. It made me laugh. It was lovely. Yeah, I thought,
I don't know that Phil. Not only does he love Time Lash to bits, but he's a little bit of a tinker into.
I like that. It made me smile. It was funny. Yeah.
So they were the only Doctor Who people there, I take it then, from what you've said.
Well, Jimmy V was there, but I think he lives there because he's there all the time. Edinburgh? Yeah, because he's always pictures of Banner Cafalata and Moxer Ball, who know that kind of stuff. But he lives in Glasgow,
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Because you saw him last year as well. Did you not speak to him this year?
No. If he's there next year, I'll have to get a signature or something because he might not be there again. But because that's the thing, I feel sorry. But Doctor Who had a huge queue for Janet and for Peter, which is lovely. And I feel sorry for, I suppose, lesser celebrities like Jimmy V. No disrespect, but. The queues were less, so they were sitting on their own for quite a lot of the time, which is a bit sad, really. But
it is a bit sad. But then when you've got somebody like Peter Davison and Janet Fielding there, what can you expect? And they will know that because they're the headliners. But also for me, it shows still just how popular proper Doctor Who still is.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, because I bet it was all ages queuing up for Peter and Janet as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
They are great pictures. We've also got we've got this one as well.
No, that's a friend of mine in the cyber costume.
I was going to ask.
Another fan called Doug Macbeth, a lovely guy, and that's his own costume. So he was wandering around in that costume, and he was playing. Him and his son were playing Star Wars characters as well, and so I think his son had a turn in the costume as well. So it's a lovely cyber costume.
So when you say it's his own costume, that looks like a TV. Has he bought that from a TV used one?
No, it's all replicas as far as I'm aware. The helmet's been made by another fan. the chest unit was provided by another fan through a mate of mine as well, and he's got the proper boots and everything. I was laughing. They had an orchestra playing before the panel started, and we were waiting for Janet and Janet Peter to arrive for that panel, and we're playing the Doctor Who theme, and Doug was standing by the TARDIS and the Cybermen tapping his foot to the music. It was very funny. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I mean, look at that. Look at the detail in that, everyone. Even on the actual suit, isn't it? Just this is what I mean about these. These cosplayers spend an absolute fortune and lots of hours of putting these things together, and then meeting other people who can do things like obviously the chest unit and the helmet if he can't do it himself. But how gorgeous is it? It's stunning. That's TV worthy, isn't it?
It's beautiful, yeah. Often these costumes look better close up than you might see an original costume from Earthshock. You know what I mean? It's much better condition. I suppose it's newer. That's the thing, but it looks better. Yeah.
Yeah. Got some Mark Greaves saying to us here, amazing costume, isn't it, Mark? And Mudcrab saying that costume is excellent. We had to have that one. I'm so glad that Robert Payne also saying that. One could say that Cyberman costume is excellent. And John Mason saying it's a good replica, isn't it? Just Paul Rose also saying, glad to see you have your hands behind your back after Earthshock, Paul. Very wise. I've got a badge handy just in case. That was it. So I had my glasses in my hand. I thought, oh no, what to do with them? So I put them in my back because I was Robert Payne, Tegan had the extra thing of being a Tom Baker companion, a link between the two doctors like Adric. Yeah, I think that was more by luck. Well, I asked them both a question when I got a signature, and I said to Janet, "What do you have any memories of Patrick Troughton?" And she said, "Yes." At one convention, she was there, and she was in the same hotel as him in the States somewhere, and she got a telephone call from Troughton saying, "Hi, Janet, could you do me a favor? I need a haircut. Could you come down and give me a haircut in my hotel room?" She said, "Yes, no problem. But to give me a haircut." Yeah, incredible. Yeah, that's a brilliant memory, actually. How many people could say? They had to. I wonder if you had the ball. A haircut. Yeah. That's a great story. It really, I love that. Hello, Frankie. Frankie Stanagza. I can't say that. You know that. Welcome. I love Iron Sky, who is David Tennant's sister in Us Camping, being in Doctor Who, as she is a fan. Good to know. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Mark Greaves saying to us, a time gone by when companions meant something. Ooh, controversial. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say much on that one. I can't save it for the next show. We'll save it for the next. It's just, honestly, I just can't remember. Yeah. I'm not as attached, obviously, to the new generation companions, really, as I was to mine growing up. From vaguely remembering Joe, but definitely from Sarah onwards. You know, up to Ace, really. But the new ones, because I was older as well, really not as invested as we went through. Like, Rose was getting on my nerves for a little while in series 2. Martha, I don't think she was given a chance. I quite liked her. Donna, I really liked the Donna relationship there that they had there. And then Amy and Rory and all this that came. That's when I started to go. Anyway, that's another show. Sorry about that. Did you know Bill was a lesbian? Just to remind you that. Bill really? Bill was a lesbian. Really? I can't even remember Bill. Sorry. That's just what a wasted series that was. Mudcrab, that Cyberman was attack era. Earthshock had the little grill in the chest, right? Yes, it did. You're right. In the test unit, it had a cover with the grill in, which is where they put the gold from Madric's badge, remember? And then that disappeared, didn't it, later on? And I think it was because all you saw was the plastic molded pipes and stuff, like in that one there. And I think it's because they lost the grills or something like that, or probably because I think they were quite loose, weren't they? I think it looks good. It gives you an idea. It's almost like you see the innards a little bit, isn't it? I would have painted them though a little bit. I would have painted them so they look like wires, a little bit of red or green and yellow and blues and stuff like that. Maybe some fluid in there possibly, but that's how they were. But when you got the perspex over it with the grill, they screwed them in, didn't they? So maybe there is a story there. You mentioned that you did get your annual autograph, so let's have a look at that again. Here's the picture. There we go. Really nice there. Really nice. And you notice again that all the doctors do this now. Peter signed it, with a Roman numeral of 5. So you've got they're all numbering themselves now. I did like the fact that Janet put to Paul a hoodlum
and Janet Fielding. That's better than Hoovy. I like the word hoodlum.
I was going to ask you, what's that about?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It must be how she signs them, So
Ooh.
I don't know. Rather than
Hoodlum.
Hoovian, hoodlum sounds better, I have to say. Yeah.
I like a hoodlum.
Yeah.
And then she's put a character name there as well.
Yeah, just in case I don't know.
Yeah, in case you forget.
Yeah.
So that's from the 1980. Was it? No, hang on a minute. This was out in 82 for 83, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So it was the 1983 annual.
When I think saying this, I must have clipped the picture, but it's £2.50. It says there on the little price tag there, which seems an awful lot in 1982, doesn't it? I must admit.
It does actually, but I think it was. I think they really were quite expensive back then.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the price of them now, anywhere from $7.99 to $10.99 per annual, and they're very thin these days.
Yeah, they're more like a pamphlet now, I have to say. Yeah.
The thing about this annual Who viewers, if you're looking at these things, and you I haven't got that, or I must look at that, is this one is still around today. It's amazing. If you go to various secondhand bookshops and possibly even comic book fairs and stuff like that, this thing tends to be around. I have seen so many of them in the last few years of that particular annual with that cover. And I just can't understand why necessarily, because it's not a bad annual and it's more tied in with the TV series than usual. But I don't know about you, Paul, but I've seen a hell of a lot of them.
Well, I was looking on eBay just to see out of interest what annual prices were like in general with autographs. And I saw one of Colin Baker's first annual autograph by Colin on the front of the annual. And that was going for £25, which is interesting. So,
you see. Oh, there you go.
I'm not that plan to sell anything. Never again. No.
No. Yeah, that was terrible, isn't it? Thank you very much for all your comments on this. This is great. Thank you so much. What's this? From Frankie again. Could the BBC move Doctor Who away from Cardiff to another base if Badwood Studios are mothballed? The answer to that is absolutely they could. And strange you say this, Frankie, because stay with us here on the channel, because we are going to be coming back a little bit to this in the big show at 8 o'clock tonight. That is inevitably going to come up in the conversation because we've got a lot of stuff here. It's been a very busy week, as you will know. Domgo is saying to us, Martha was great. Such a shame they dumped her. Are you like me, Domgo? Do you get the feeling that although she was contracted for the 1 year, it was quite unceremoniously done?
Yeah.
Because I've always had that feeling. And if I ever get to meet Freema Agyeman, I'm going to actually say, go on, spill the beans, kid. Tell me everything. I'm your doctor. Tell me everything.
I don't know if they didn't realise how popular she was, because I think she was more popular than Rose, to be honest. And then they chopped it, but then they gave her as a consolation episodes in Torchwood as well instead. So why do that if they didn't think she was popular? I don't know. But...
Well, yeah, I mean, she became popular during that run.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's another show, I guess. That'll be a companion piece when we eventually do Martha Jones with Freema Agyeman.
Yeah.
Freema, if you're out there, whosviews1@gmail.com, give us an email. We'll get you on the show because I'd like to know. It's years after now, kid. Come on, come and talk to me. We've got Andy with us, and thank you for your super chat, Andy. Question: did you pluck up the courage to ask classic Who stars what they thought of the latest season? What a great question. Go on, Paul.
No, I didn't. I was too chicken to do it because I knew what the answer would be. I think they have a stock answer because they don't want to be. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them, do they? That's the thing. So even if they did ask it, they would say, "Yeah, I'm enjoying some of it. Shooty's very good," or something like that. Or they'd be non-committal, wouldn't they? That's the thing. So
yeah,
I chickened out. I didn't do that. No.
Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because we did say on a show fairly recently as well, that various people have now started to say, I don't know, Peter Purvis being one. We know Fraser's doing it as well. And I believe even Lou Jameson came out recently at a convention and said, I don't like the direction the show's going in. And I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting her, I'm not saying she did, but I believe she questioned it as well. So maybe the tide is turning there, Andy. And if you do go to a convention Who Views and you do ask them that question, what do you think of the new series? And they say anything negative, whosviews1@gmail.com. Tell us about it, and then we'll tell everybody else.
I did ask Peter a question about A Very Peculiar Practice and whether or not was Graham Crowden as mad as he appeared. He said he was a bit eccentric but lovely to work with. So that was a bit of a kind of sort of political answer to that one. But he said he enjoyed doing that show particularly and enjoyed working with all that cast. But I love that show. It's great.
That's nice to know, isn't it? It's nice to know. Paul Rose is saying I haven't been to a con for probably 15 years or more myself. The last was probably at the NEC in Birmingham or one in Manchester. Oh, can you remember which? I get confused, Paul, now with because I've been to a fair share, and the only name I can remember was Panopticon. You know, that was the only one, because they all came up with all these lovely names and stuff, and I can't remember the names of any of them. So it all blurs, because I'll say I was in one in Manchester. Yeah, which one? I don't know. Yeah. And it's a shame, really, because I wish they never gave leaflets or anything away in my day to say, as far as I can remember, or know, with the name of the convention on. But,
or the year or something like that.
Yeah, and if they did, I never got one. Graham is saying to us, it was compulsory to have a Doctor Who annual every Christmas back then, wasn't it, just, Graham?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it? For me, it was, I don't know about you, Paul, for me, it was the Doctor Who annual, the Beano annual, the Dandy annual, and then if I was lucky, because of the prices back then, folks, if I was lucky, I would probably get something else, and it could vary, the fourth one. It could be Space 1999 one year, I got Blake 7 one year, you know, it would, if I was lucky. You know,
well, I would always get the Doctor Who annual and occasional, like a Batman one or a Planet of the Apes one. But I used to get the Ur Willie or the Bruins, which are very Scottish.
Of course you did.
So we got them as well, you know.
Of course you did. We've got that. Are we all classed as hoodlums? Asked Mark. I think we probably will be now. Especially them being classed as a dinosaur, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Janet. And John saying to us, I will have to look for that annual. Yeah, do. Honestly, please do. Second-hand antique bookshops, whatever they call them now, have a look through those, because honest to goodness, I've seen loads of them. I've also seen them in charity shops. Isn't that odd, considering that it's that long?
Well, it's funny you see them in charity shops. I noticed because the Third Troughton one, which is another favourite of mine, with a photograph from Power, which is lovely.
Yeah.
I saw that in a charity shop in Morningside, of all places, very posh area, and charity shops are very sus now, because they have like a charity auction for merchandise they think's valuable. So you have to enter an auction to try and bid for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the people are sussed now that things are worth money, they won't just sell them for 50 pence. You know what I mean? So.
Do you know, they have people in charity shops have, and actually it's good for the charity, but some of them have woken up to the fact that actually these things might be worth money now. And they do the research quickly. They go onto eBay, they go onto the internet, wherever they're going to go to have a look, don't they, at how much something could cost.
Yeah.
And then they say, right, okay, we'll put that in. And it goes to the charity, you know, because you used to be able to get things years ago, like, you know, a Dolce & Gabbana suit for 10 quid. If you went to the right charity shops. Not anymore, because they've cottoned on now. Oh no, that'd be 250, you know, or something like that. And then they meet their daily target in one day, don't they, really? Or their weekly target.
Well, I remember in the 80s going to jumble sales and picking up things there. I remember getting the Troughton Pertwee Three Doctors jigsaw puzzle at one for like 10 pence or something in the 80s. Bizarre, you know?
Yeah. Graves pointing out Peter Purvis was quite damning on the new stuff at Epsom. Peter Purvis is and he has actually been on GB News as well in the anniversary year, I think it was, to talk about what they're doing with it. It was an interesting discussion he had. But yeah, we actually had Graham. You came onto the show, didn't you, to talk about this on one of our previous visitations. So if you haven't seen that show, that's something for you to do between this show and headlines tonight as well, if you want to go and look at that on the Visitations playlist. JT asked Paul Rose, do you often reach out to cast and crew to come onto the show? I think a lot might. Maybe anyone who sees them at the cons could mention the podcast. We started off, Paul, to let you know, we did do an awful lot, and we can see them on our Merchandise Paradise playlist as well when we started the channel back in 2023, and that was very much to celebrate the 60th anniversary, and you know, I was quite hyped up for it at that point. So we had a lot of people that were coming on, didn't we, Paul, to talk about their merchandise and what they were talking about. And we've got some great interviews there. At the moment, there are a few people that might come onto the show. We're quite outspoken though here on Who's Who's, aren't we? And as Paul was saying there, at the moment, everybody's sort of watching what they would say. But hopefully, we've got a couple of people coming to see very well within the next few months. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
We were lucky to get Nabil Shaban coming on at one occasion to review Vengeance, didn't we? Which is nice. Yeah.
And then Dominic came on a couple of times as well, Mr. Dominic Glynn. And as I say, we've had a lot of people in Merchandise Paradise as well. So we'll bide our time with that one. But I have spoke to a couple of people, Paul. So yeah, let's see where we go. It'd be very interesting to see where we're going at the moment. I think everybody might want to quieten down, because one of the questions, of course, I will and you will all ask them is, what do you think about Doctor Who coming off the air? And they'll all go, So it's a bit dodgy for them at the moment, I think.
Well, I think we've discussed this before, that the upcoming wilderness years will do classic Doctor Who stars a lot of good, I'd imagine. Yeah, so
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Hi, Enspiel. I miss the days of Panopticon and Panopticon. Oh, I do as well. Dominic Glynn, he used to put his heart and soul in that thing, and it was always brilliant, and it was always fun. And that's the Doctor Who fandom, Enspiel, that I remember, because you would meet people there every year if you went. I went to quite a few of them year after year, and I loved every minute of them. That's where I met loads of the stars and the crew, and I do miss those Panopticons as well. They were something else. Wow.
My main convention things were done locally for me, and I met Richard Franklin, John Levine, Terence Sticks, Katie Manning, people like that. It was lovely,
Yeah. Oh,
J&T as well. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Enspiel saying I classify myself as a Whoer. Well, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Hello, Frank
Too
Cooper.
much information there, I think. Yeah.
I know too much. Yeah. Hello, Frank Cooper. I've nearly got all the original audiobook CDs. I only need 2. Oh, which 2? Because are they the Target ones you're talking about, or the BBC originals? Because there's several ranges there now. I know the Target novelizations from BBC Studios are about to end, aren't they? I am so behind on them. I've got a few, and thanks to Ian, I've got a few more. I love them. I will love them. Domgo. Doctor Who, Whizzer and Chips, 2 Whizzer and Chips, and 2000 AD annuals without fail. That's what you used to get. Whizzer and Chips, that was a good one as well.
I do remember Shiver and Shake. Remember that? The ghost one.
Yes, I do. Yeah, they were quite fun. They were quite fun. Oh, happy days, eh? And Hugh Janus, Hoodlums and Hooligans. That's trademark Who's Views now, because that's a convention title, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll write that down. Hang on. We'll have that, because you never know. Thank you for that. Problem being, charity shops forget they serve 2 functions: one, to raise money for charity, and secondly, to serve the local community with affordable prices. I have to say, being controversial, you know me, everyone, how much goes to the local community these days though, Lee? Because a lot of it, I'm not being I'm trying not to be controversial, but a lot of it does go abroad now, because they're all big charities now, don't they? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'd like to know how many stay within your local community. Dino V, hello there. How are you? Good to see you. Doctor Who annuals, in all honesty, were quite awful. I loved getting them from around 74, but the content tended to be dreadful. Well, Paul, what do we say about that?
Well, that's a no-no. We love the annuals so much, so you have to watch our annual show, because it's superb. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the show that's on every year, by the way, Dino.
Yeah.
If you go and have a look at our specials, last year, Doctor Who magazine actually put something in the Doctor Who magazine saying the same thing you've done. And we were so outraged. We went like this. And then we did a show about it. It's called The Annual Ball, where we all talked about how brilliant it was. And I think we proved Doctor Who magazine wrong. So I challenge you, if I go and have a look at that show and then get back to us, put a comment in when you watch this.
Some of the stories, the comic strip stories, the storybook stories were great, really. Yeah.
I like that from Dom going, wash your mouth out, Dina. Absolutely do love that. That's brilliant. Outspoken, says Eddie. Honest would be more accurate. Yeah. What else we got there? Oh, and Robert's just saying to us, Robert Payne, I've just looked at 1977 Doctor Who annual is between £5 and £10 on eBay. It depends on the year of them as well, actually, because some of them are worth more. Like the Pink Pertwee annual, we all know can go for a lot. The Taranton ones can go for a lot. Yeah. The Tom Baker ones had a higher print run, I believe, on some of them. George would know for sure.
The 77 one, the really oversized one, isn't it? The one that's really big
one. Yeah, the real big one. So yeah, it depends on some of them. The 80s ones, though, those last few between Peter and Colin, they can go. I've seen them going for around about £10-15. So if you're looking for the one that Paul's had signed last weekend, as I say, get out to those vintage shops, those secondhand bookshops. You might find one. Frankie is saying to us, charity shops now having sorting warehouses and experts to price things to get to the right prices now. Yeah. Well, they took their time. I mean, I was saying to them years ago, do you realize this is a Calvin Klein belt? This is something that actually happened to me. This is a Calvin Klein belt and you want £2.50 for it. So this is around about 99, 2000. And the lady, God bless her, that was with me, said, is that wrong? I said, yes, it blooming well is, because this is a Calvin Klein belt, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a little bit more than that, I can assure you.
Well, a mate of mine, I think, picked up a Versace suit for about 20 quid, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, a very clever friend of mine back in the day used to go to Kensington, Paul, for all the charity shops that were near the Kensington area, where all the rich people would dump all the stuff they didn't want that day, you know.
But I bet they were very expensive, because the one in Morris I was talking about, it's like going to John Lewis. It's really expensive.
Yeah. He was so clever, though. He used to come back with lovely shirts, lovely suits, belts that we were talking about, all sorts of things. It was amazing what he did there. What else we got? Mark Milford. JT 2025 is Character Options 20th anniversary of its Doctor Who toy line. Would you and Ian and Paul consider doing a show on the 20 years of Doctor Who character toys? Well, all I can say to you is make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed. Stay with us here on Who's Views, because you're absolutely right. Everything's planned. Oh, we've got some shows coming for you, I'll tell you. Stay with us here. It's great to see you all this evening. Most charity shop donations, there's problem being, get pocketed by the volunteers. At least that was true when I was a kid volunteering. It was quite the shock. Yeah, if anything decent came in firstly, it was the same with me. They would go, oh, I quite like that, and pop it in the handbag, wouldn't they? Terrible. Terrible. Right, what have we got? So yes, that was that there. That was the autographs there, Paul. That was really nice there. So come on. The big question that I need to know now is how much?
Yes, that's the difficult one. Yes, well, Peter for a selfie and an autograph was £40.
Hang on. So that picture there was 40 quid.
Including the autograph.
Including the autograph.
That was called a combination. If you get both, you get a combination. It's slightly cheaper. If you buy them separately, it's more expensive. Like if you just buy one or the other. Yeah.
£40. And how many people were in the queue?
When I was there must have been at least 20 odd people, at least at that point. I don't know. Throughout the day, it kept going. So. And
were they there just for the one day, the same one day?
No, they were there for both days. But apparently, Janet had to leave early because of her train was on Sunday service. Yeah, but Peter was there the entire day. Yeah, for
Sundays, for those of you watching us outside the UK, Sundays are a nightmare for public travel. Please don't ask us why. It always has been. It always bloody well is going to be. It's a nightmare. And the convention I did was a Sunday in Blackpool a couple of years ago, the one that Paul and I worked on. And we had to factor in the fact that the turns, Colin and Nicola, would have to leave to get away at a certain time. Other people would have to leave. And you had to factor that into your schedule, you know, and the day and what would happen. Oh, man. But it always has been. It's either going to be engineering works or they just can't be bothered. And I believe it's worse now. So no wonder she had to leave early to get home.
Yeah.
Probably took her about 4 hours to get from Edinburgh to Blooming London, to be quite honest.
Well, just to get to the railway station from the Corn Exchange, you have to get 2 buses for a start, you know. But
surely somebody would have driven them.
So you got a cab, yeah. So wait a minute, there's like a kind of guest minibus they had to pick them all up from their hotel. Apparently.
I love that. Peter, here's your minibus, love. What we got here?
I think Peter was nearly late, apparently.
We've got here Legion of James is saying to us £40. Do you know what though? Compared with the new lot, that's dirt cheap. Have you seen how much the charge? Yes, of course you have Legion.
Well, Janet was cheaper. But,
Yeah. What else we got? Well, come to that in a second. Though. Frank saying to us, I meant the BBC original audiobook CDs and Unearthly Child and Terror of the Zygons. I've been with Who's Views from last year. Well, thank you for being with us, Frank. Nice to see you. Thank you. The original audiobook CDs, yeah. So you've got Unearthly Child and Terror of the Zygons to go. Well, good luck. If anybody sees them, let our Frank know, will you? If anybody's got any that extra that they want, let him know in the chat. Let's see what we can do for you. Oh, I feel like Noel Edmonds on Swap Shop now.
You can swap it for a pair of roller skates or something if you do that.
Yeah, you can swap it for Janet Fielding. Woo! Dino V is also saying to us, Bedford Who Charity Con is on in April. Guests include Lou Jameson, Katie Manning, Sophie Aldred, and others. Are you going, Dino V? Because if you are, let me know, whosviews1@gmail.com. And if you want to come and do a little show like this to tell us how it was, if you're going, that is, please feel free. And that's the same for all of you, of course. If you're all going somewhere that you think would be of interest to us to do a little show like this and report back to all of us, then you can get in touch with me. You know the address. I know you know the address. It's whosviews1@gmail.com. There it is for you there. you know the address because a lot of you are getting in touch with me, which is great. Okay, so it's £40 for that particular photograph with an autograph
for
Mr. Davison. Okay, so how about Janet then? How much did this set you back?
She was a fiver cheaper than that. So
right, so she was £35 for the photograph, the selfie, and the autograph.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know what? I don't know if I'd have the patience every day for 2 days with various strangers.
Well, that's what I was. I mean, I say I always go. Twice I've been so far, but I've been going on the first thing to get over with, because I think if they're there all day, you go on the second day, they must be bored, and having to do that constant smile like they work in a bank. That was really hard. So I got them when they were fresh, about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Yes, that was good.
See, that's the good thing to do, though, isn't it, really? Frankie wants to know, was the minibus bigger on the inside? I suppose it had to be.
It'd have to be, yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant. And JT says, Paul Rose, Mark Hamill now charges $500 for an autograph or $750 for a large item. It's nuts. And it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I think the thing is, it seems quite expensive, but you at least tell you what you have to pay. If you want to pay that, that's up to you. That's your choice, but it's your choice, and you know what you're getting into.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is your choice, and if you're working hard and you've got nothing else to spend on it, good for you, I say.
Yeah.
For that much money, I'd smile like the Cheshire Cat. Curse, that's a great point, actually. Yeah, because they know they're earning the money through it, aren't they? So I suppose, and you've been paid to go there. You've had all your expenses looked after as well. You're meeting some fantastic, hopefully, people.
What was interesting, though, which I did notice, and I just had one thing to sign. There was one fan who had like 5 or 6 items to sign.
Pardon?
Yes, he had like 5 or 6. He had his season 20 box set, or an annual, a Target novel, that kind of thing, and went with lots of things to sell to sign. Yeah.
Was he young?
No, I think he was similar age to me. So,
so he's old.
Yeah, fairly young. Yeah.
So he had to pay for each one.
Yeah, we have to pay for each signature. Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't think I could. Royal Highland Centre in Edinburgh has Comic Con the 11th and 12th of October this year. Guests not confirmed yet, says the Legion of James. Well, that's something for us to watch, actually, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
Wasn't cursed. You never know if October's okay. If it's doable, we might have to go to that. Who viewers? We'll have to sort something out. But thanks for that, Legion of James. We'll keep an eye on that, Paul, will you?
I will do,
forget. You know what I'm like? I will forget completely.
That's at Ingliston, I think, isn't it? The Royal Highland Centre. Yeah.
It is, isn't it? But it's a quite nice venue, if I remember rightly.
It's
How much did this fella charge you then?
Nothing. He was free. Yeah. Any gold I could give him, he was fine. Yeah.
Excellent.
No, he was a friend, so he was fine. He was free, so that's fine.
So the photographs we've showed, that was £40 for the photographs. That was the autograph that was included in the autograph, yeah? In the photograph?
That's right. The autograph was included with the selfie, yeah.
Okay. So how much was this?
That was for charity. That was 40 as well, yeah.
So that was another £40 for you?
Yeah.
And that was for charity? And that's not signed, is it?
That's not signed, no. That's just the background with the lovely frame that it came with, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. It's actually quite interesting. So was this in front of a green screen?
Yeah, there's a green screen thing, and they just add the backdrop into it. Yeah.
All right. Did you tell him you were an actor?
No, I didn't. No.
All right. I could have got you a job in his next program. So that was for charity, and the money went there. So that was nice of you to do that one as well. Was there a big queue for this particular one for the green screen?
No, there was only about a dozen people for that at that point. Right. Yeah. Interestingly, Paul McGann's one was there was loads of people at that one. Yeah.
This is the thing. I mean, all the doctors are a draw, but for some reason as well, Paul McGann really seems to pack them in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Peter and Colin and Sylve don't, but we've all got this thing for Paul McGann, really, haven't we? Because the one that got away, as it were.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting. There was, I think, Cygnus Events or something was doing a Tom Baker one early on. It's in April, I think. And my wife said to me, "Would you like to meet Tom Baker?" I said, "I'd love to meet him again after all this time, because that would be the last time to see him." Hopefully not. But they're having an event, and they were doing £180 to meet Tom and have like I think a coffee with him, whatever, and a signature. But they had like a ballot, so you had to be in a lucky dip to get picked out for meeting him, because there's limited numbers. So So they do it different ways, but Tom would be great to meet because there must be so much demand for that to meet Tom for a final time.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, don't say that. I mean,
I know, but
yeah,
it's
I know
hard not to
reality,
because he's
but
92 because he doesn't
I know.
do many
No.
events now. He's an
And
old
who
man.
can blame him?
No,
Who
no,
can
I don't
blame
blame him at all. No, no.
He did
But yeah,
for years, didn't he, Tom? He was
yeah,
around for a long, long time, and he was always brilliant.
yeah, yeah.
So he deserves his retirement as well. We love you, Tom. One, one, one,
Oh, we
one.
love him to bits. Yeah,
We
I'd
love him
love to
to
meet him
bits.
again. But one last
Yeah,
time. Yeah, we did.
yeah, yeah. Lots of you, a lot of praise there for that one. So at the end of the day, let's add that up. Now, how much was it to get into the Comic Con as well, or this convention? Sorry,
It was $15.95 for an entry ticket as well. Yeah.
Right. So those of you in the chat who go to these things, that's fairly cheap. Now, that's for the day, though, isn't it?
Just for one day, not for two.
That was for one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. $15.95. Was there a day pass, Paul? Do you know?
There may have been, but I didn't. I think there's a priority meeting thing you can pay as well, so you can get to see the actors first. I think as well, but I can't remember how much that was. But I didn't do that. But
so all in all, you had a good day. Then would you recommend?
I had a great day. I went with another Doctor Who fan friend of mine with a great day. Then we went for dinner afterwards and a couple of drinks, and that was nice. A really nice day. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You'd recommend it though, that one?
That was good. I mean, it's a lovely atmosphere and a nice place. I mean, it's quite pricey. I appreciate that, but it's I've met Peter and Janet now. I had met Peter back in 1984, I think it was, where he did a tour of Barefoot in the Park, the Neil Simon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, with Sandra. Yeah.
And I met him afterwards and her afterwards of that back at the King's in Edinburgh in 84 or 5, whether that was. So I've not met him in those since then. So that was the first time I'd seen him since then. But it was lovely. Nice. Yeah, nice.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on who's coming up. They had Paul McGann this year. They had Peter Davison and Janet Fielding this year. Who are they going to get next for Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Obviously, it proves proper Doctor Who. It's still a draw, everybody, isn't it? It's still a draw all these years later, and people are still packing into somewhere like the Corn Exchange in Edinburgh to come and meet them all and keep them busy over 2 days. Absolutely fantastic. I really like that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Proper Doctor Who might still be a draw all these years later, but is new version of Doctor Who. We're going to be going now because we're going to be back on this very channel very soon with this. Your big show tonight. This is the one you're looking for. It's up on the channel for you now, live here on Who's Views. It's headlines. Of course it is. For Who the Bell Tolls. We're going to be looking at that live at 8 o'clock. We'll be back with Ian here, of course, as ever, and all of you, as we look at what has been a big week for Doctor Who, and not in a good way. I can tell you. Paul, thanks very much for coming to tell us about that. What a nice way to start our Sunday evening, I thought.
You're very welcome. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. If you get a chance to go, it's a nice little day out, if a little expensive.
Yeah. Look, we've all got you all here saying, look at this. Mark Milford saying, well done, Paul. It sounds like it was a wonderful day. Noel saying to us, Newcastle Comic Con has Colin Baker there. Fabulous. And Graham saying to us, see you all in an hour. Absolutely. Thanks for that. And Legion James saying to us, I paid a lot for a meet and greet and lunch with cast members from the Prison Cell Block H, hosted by Screen Star Events. It's all money well spent. I'd love similar with Proper Doctor and Companions. They used to do that in the wilderness years. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We used to do things like that. I don't know if they'll be doing them all now, but I don't know. But listen, great to see you all. This is with the calm before the storm. We'll be back in just over an hour. I'm going to go and grab a cup of tea and get changed and get something quick to eat. See you live here on Who's Views, this channel, 8 o'clock. See you shortly, everyone.
Ta-ra. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.